of Salima Speaks. You know, I'm always talking about families, and I'm very, very passionate about families. I'm so passionate mostly about fathers being able to see their children. A lot of times, you know, women do plan to have babies by men without telling the man, you know, and they think that once they get pregnant, that the man is going to mysteriously fall in love with them, or they're going to fall in love with the child. And sometimes the man doesn't want to be a father. He doesn't want to be a father to your child, you know, so that's not fair. But, you know, I run across so many men, and so many people look at black men as being deadbeat dads and things like that, but I run into so many men that actually want to be with their children, that actually want to be in their children's lives, and some evil, vindictive woman won't allow them to. And I have such a man like that today on my show, Mr. Louis Sadler. Hello, Louis.
Good afternoon, Salima.
And Louis was on my show before, and we talked about some of the things that he's going through with his children. And just tell me a little refresher about what you're going through.
Well, it's still been a struggle for the last 7 years, trying to have my situation rectified, that the courts see me as one type of individual and label me, but I am actually a legitimate father and a good role model. My current situation is that we went to court previously through this spring, and we had another court date given to us early part of the summer. I dealt with something that throughout the 7 years going through the court proceedings I didn't have to deal with until just recently. I didn't get a court order in order to get my children through the summer, which there wasn't any reason that I shouldn't have them. Also, I was told by one of the judges at the courtroom that he wasn't going to write an order. This whole thing was messy, and also he didn't want to inconvenience me, and my best bet would be to go down to Georgia to try to file down there, although Pennsylvania holds the jurisdiction. So
that's the thing. You know, you were saying before that you did go to Georgia one time.
Yes, I did.
And what happened then when you did go to Georgia?
The first time I went, it was just through a coincidental understanding that one of the court employees had with me, that he signed everything, state sealed, and I was accompanied by the sheriff's department to get my children, or get my daughter, my youngest daughter. And I did bring her up here for a short period of time. Somehow, the mother, who has a warrant and several contempts, was able to convince the attorney for the school board of Philadelphia to have my daughter released to a relative.
Wow.
And it was odd, because even the judge that didn't want to write an order couldn't understand that how we could allow that to happen when the aunt resided outside of Philadelphia County.
You know, it's so many things with this case is so disturbing, because this is what I talk about all the time. Here's a father that wants to see his children. And how old were your children when she left? You were saying 7 years ago.
I had a son that was going to the 8th grade. My daughter was going to the 6th. And my youngest daughter wasn't even in school when she initially took them.
Okay, 8th grade, how it was, about 12, 13?
About 12.
Okay,
yeah.
And your daughter was?
About 10.
Okay, and then you had like a 5-year-old?
No, actually, when she took my daughter was actually 2.
Okay. So, and for 7 years, you've been fighting. Now, of course, the older 2 children, I mean, they can see you on their own, but they choose not to?
Well, as I said in the previous show, and I don't want to keep dwelling on that, it's something called parental alienation. They have information regarding that. It's a very interesting thing about how parents will disassociate their children with the other parent, and by them being the only voice that they hear, whether it's right or wrong, you know, the information that they're given is one-sided. So as a result, I don't have a relationship with my 19-year-old son by this marriage, and also my oldest daughter, who's now 18. But I found out within the last year, throughout this fighting and things, I was trying to protect them from what I could do and what the courts would allow me to be able to do legally.
Right.
I'm now a grandfather of a 5-year-old girl and that's by my 19-year-old son. And also I found out just this June that my daughter, who is now 18 as of April, is, I guess she's about to deliver a baby, which means that this whole process started when she was a minor.
Okay.
So this is what I was trying to prevent, to give them guidance, as a father or
Right.
another parent, legitimate parent. So as we stand, just to give you a summary, my son has no relationship with his daughter, so he's going through something what I'm going through, but
Okay.
I wanted to tell him to multiply that by 3
Right.
and then understand how I feel. It's just getting ugly, and the judge, I couldn't believe that Judge Rogers would even say that to me after being told the circumstances by my attorney
Right.
at the beginning of our hearing. So I'm here to appeal to anyone who has any idea, and also I don't want any parents or fathers, mothers to deal with this, because it's with you every day. So there has to be something that has to be said for the judicial system and the family court.
And it seems that, like we said before, they do favor the mother. If you had taken the children, they would have been all over you to return those children. She wouldn't have had to go through all the stuff that you're going through. They would have made sure that you returned those children. So it's so unfair that they do this. So now where do you stand in your fight? Are you going back to court? Are you going to go to Georgia, or what do you do now?
Well, I did go to the court to get instruction. I have to actually file again, but not on appeal or reconsideration, because that would mean that I would have to be in front of Judge Rogers again.
Okay.
I have definite plans on making sure that we file another motion so that my visitation and my time with my daughter, who incidentally I haven't seen since January the 15th of 2014, nor have I talked to her. So all this is in violation to the current court order, but because it's 500 miles, I can't have Pennsylvania, and they will not go and get my wife, and it's real crazy. I know people have it worse than me, but
So this is pretty bad.
this isn't great,
Yeah.
But with my youngest daughter being 9 years old, a lot of my focus is on her, because she's still a child. My other two, because of what had happened with the communication, and I was an abusive dad, just so people would understand that. I did have structure, and I made sure they were active and they learned, and they also went to school. Right now, the circumstances is sort of like, from what I can understand, is that I'm doing me so you could do you. And that's not the thing you give children, because after all, even at 18 and 19, they're still children.
So you're saying the mother, that's her attitude now, that she's doing herself, so the kids should just.
Well, the mother told me that, and also just from not even saying, your actions a lot of times, they speak louder than your words.
Sure.
So that's what I see, moving around multiple times, and
So they didn't have a stable life with her.
not within. It's been going on 7 years, and they moved around maybe 5 times.
Okay.
And that speaks for itself. It's not like they're in the military and they're on a base or anything like that. They're moving around in public, to different houses, different neighborhoods, without family members at all at any of these locations. And that right there, you kind of, it's hard when you move anyway. One time it's hard, but
Right.
5 times with 3
Schools and
children,
everything, yeah.
it can be hard. So by me being a legitimate person, a dad, it's hard for me to sit back and allow my children to go through these experiences without even having an idea of what type of guidance they're getting.
Right.
So.
And I understand that, and that's why I'm so passionate. I try to talk to people, I try to reach people. Here is a man that wants to be in his children's life, that's been fighting, spending money on lawyers, and trying to be in your children's lives. And the court system is just not fair to you. I had a white friend, and he says, I go into court, I'm still protected. They still protect me, but a black man goes into court, he has no protection. So where do you go from here? All right, I would imagine that if you could pick up and leave and go to Georgia yourself and live there, do you think that would be, not that you can, but would that be easier if you could do that?
Well, even when we were in North Carolina, let's be honest. I have no problem with people in general at all, but I'm a northern person.
Okay.
And even when I went down to get
Oh,
my
I feel you,
children,
because I went to Georgia, and I'm back here.
and we discussed it.
Yeah, I understand that.
That is not
very
the
well.
place I want to be. And
I mean, Georgia's okay, y'all. I'm not trying to say anything about the whole state of Georgia.
I like beaches and
like being
barbecue
here.
and everything and wide open spaces, but I'm a city person.
Yeah.
And even personally, I believe the opportunities up in the Mid-Atlantic region, to me, from what I've seen in my years, are better than what's going on down south. Even with the New South and all that, you know, we can tell by what's going on with the relationship with police.
Exactly.
That speaks for itself.
Right. And being a black man anywhere nowadays, but especially in the South.
Well,
and you're threatening looking because you have the beard and you're a big dude, you know.
But they treat Northerners down south a little differently.
They do.
Especially
yes,
when you're dealing with authoritative figures
I agree.
in the court. When you're handling business, it's almost
because
like
you
it's
know
resentment.
Exactly, because you are intelligent, because you are fierce, because you have that. And a lot of the Southern men are, yes, Your Honor, you know, honest. They kind of cow down to the law because they're used to that. So you being a Northern, you're not used to cowing down. You know, so they expect for you. Also, they expect for you to have that Southern drawl, and you're very well spoken. And they really don't like that because you're in their face. You're dealing with them. See, they're dealing with you on their same level. You're on their level. Some of the men that are from the South, they feel are not on their level, and the men may not be on their level.
A lot of times it's opportunity. And, you know, again, with my 19-year-old son, there's a story. I have an older son that's 25.
Okay.
He lives in Florida, or he just moved to Maryland. So we're in the process of building a relationship because he's old enough.
Is he by the same woman?
No.
Okay.
I was married twice, actually. Okay. But he actually is coming up here, and he's telling me all the time that he wants to bond with me.
Oh, wow.
So he's 25. I mean, I didn't do anything to him, and nor did I do anything to my other children. Did you ever have a relationship with him? Yeah, we had a relationship, but he had the same thing because, you know, I honestly couldn't be with his mother anymore. Okay. But I never stopped with support payments. I never stopped going to see him. I would bring him up here when she would allow me to because of things she said in court, which gave her basically the custodial custody, and I was just given visitation rights. So I dealt with that. So
she played that game too?
Oh, she played the game first.
Wow.
And my lack of knowledge of conjunctions and things like that, I handled it the best way I could. Okay. But I did keep a relationship with him every Friday, even during the weeks. I asked him what he was doing. And on Sundays, I asked him what he did. And you know how we're from Philadelphia and we get a lot of material stuff. I sent him clothes down and things he couldn't get. So we were able to have a relationship. And plus his other brothers and sisters, I made sure that they all were familiar with one another. Okay, so even to this date, they're all familiar. They know each other, even though, you know, you could probably guess one wife, for one reason, is not trying to be okay with me, and the other wife, for another reason, is not trying to be okay with me. Wow. Two different reasons, but the same result where my children were alienated from me.
Right.
But at least the 25-year-old, that may be a bridge that can help my relationship and get to know them and them to get to know me or have a desire to get to know me.
Right.
But, you know, with my 9-year-old, I was just told because someone asked me if I wanted to be on a radio show. Okay. And she said one thing that I had to go back and let her know that life moves on. And I told her, I said, well, you know, if it was a woman you said that to, which you probably wouldn't say that to, she wouldn't accept that because.
Okay, no, I don't understand what you're saying. She told you that life goes on. So
right. You know, the fight that I'm having about my children and trying to.
So just don't focus on that as much.
Yeah, just kind of put this over here in this drawer for this time, but let's do these things at this time. And I had to let her know that, you know, although we went to school together and whatever, and you're in the field and reporter and whatnot, I'm still a parent.
Right.
And I had to explain to her, I don't know the men that you know that are dealing with that and how they deal with it. But I said, if you'd have known me when I had my children and they were in my life, then you would know what type of parent I am.
And you're right. She never would have told a woman like to just get over that.
Yeah.
Get over that. They're gone. You know. So what? See you
Exactly.
later. They wouldn't. She never would have told.
That wouldn't have flew too well. They probably wouldn't have been friends either after that.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, again, it's such a shame that you seem like a good guy. You're intelligent. You know, you would be an asset to your children. You'll be an asset, and they're like we were just talking about boys. They do need a male figure in their lives, and you would have been such a positive influence on your sons. You know, and just because of some vindictive woman, you're not allowed to be a father to your children, and that has to hurt and has to affect you. You know, your life, your livelihood.
Well, actually, with having a faith-based lifestyle, some things that with morals you're able to handle a lot better than if you were just getting up in the morning and I'm going to feel this way, I'm going to feel that way. When you have some control over your emotions and logic, and you live with morals, it's easier for you to deal with things. Being human, it does hurt because someone is intentionally hurting you.
Yeah,
so you have to roll.
But
But it's what you do with that hurt. And as you know, I did the food and even brought some
as a matter of
today.
fact, he did some food today. And what did you do today?
It
brown
actually
rice?
was a new dish, brown rice, broccoli, and asparagus sauteed, and also did something called yellow chicken.
And what kind of spice did you use in the chicken?
Very basic. This one I use a Jamaican curry, which is different than some other curries. It has a blander taste. And I actually use yellow mustard, and I just combined them and a little garlic. But also
and then you put the teriyaki sauce. Now, did you make that from scratch?
Right. The teriyaki sauce was made from scratch, and I didn't make it spicy, which you can as an option.
So you kind of took your pain and the fact that you couldn't be a father to your children and put it into other things.
Well, it was just out of depression that I started this whole food movement that I've been on when we were talking on the first show. And even because there are situations why my book hasn't been published, I've been coming up with different recipes. Like this was a brand new one.
Okay, so you have a book about, a recipe book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's.
And what's the name of the recipe book?
It's romantic, extraordinary, and fun dishes for everyday people made with love in 20 minutes or less.
Okay, remember that. Now, where would somebody go to get that book?
Well, when I make sure that I can put the book out, I'll make sure that I'll get back to you and give you all the information
you do that
for
so
it.
we can tell my people.
Yeah, because
some of the recipes that I've tasted were amazing.
Yeah, it's a fusion, and everything is steamed, but again,
and it's healthy cooking also.
Very much so, and low salt, if any, and then the sodium thing is really hurting people today.
Exactly.
But I also do a rub and marinade. But again, this wouldn't have been possible had I not gone through this type of pain.
Okay.
And it's sort of like going through all the mud and then being rinsed off. Okay. And so it's made me a lot stronger.
In a positive way, because some people turn to alcohol, drugs, women, crazy stuff. But you turn to food, one of my favorite things.
Yeah, mine too. We all know.
And let me ask you this: your struggle for your children, has that affected your relationships with women?
Well, not really, because the ones that really wanted to be in my life, they would, and the ones that were really selfish. People have a way of letting you know when they're selfish. Right. They can't hold back selfish. They can kind of hold pettiness to the side and who they really are, but when they're really selfish, it kind of manifests in when they do.
And when you say selfish, they don't want for you to have this much energy spinning to try to get your children.
Right. They want you to, do we have to talk about this now? Can we do this? And that lets you know that the person's not really into you.
Right.
It may be someone who's into the flesh, someone who's, again, selfish. And when you're dealing with other people, you have to understand that they count too. You can't just say that it's you. And also on my side, I have to be understanding of other people's lives as well.
Exactly.
And know that everything in my life isn't, always number one. He's number one. Right. But at the same time, other people let you know that they want to be in your life, and they act accordingly. It's not what they say. You don't have to get 100 I love yous.
Right.
But it's what people do that kind of show. You may want a little more. You might need more attention. You might be needy. You know, you just have to check yourself. But that's daily. That's daily.
And you know what? I thank you so much.
No, I thank you because it's been a nice ride over here.
Yeah. And for bringing the food. The food was amazing. And I'm going to keep in touch with you and hear, you know, hopefully things will get better for you. I really hope so.
Well, with the communication with my 25-year-old, you know, because I pray, things have been answered already, because without our communication, which is kind of vague, but at the same time it is there. Okay. I wish this mom a happy Mother's Day, which, you know, I don't get a happy Father's Day or nothing, or birthday, but something said, you know, wish her a happy Mother's Day. And although I don't believe in it, it's something to give respect because she's the mother of my child. Right. Just out of that act of kindness, he sent me information about my daughter graduating, which I would have had no knowledge.
Okay, so he's the bridge between you and your children.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Louis.
And thank you so much, too.
I wish you the best, sweetie. And we're coming right back. We have a comedian for you, Miss Mia, and she's going to tickle your funny bone. Be right back. Welcome back to Salima Speaks, and I'm here with Mia, and she's a female comedian. Hello, Mia.
How you doing?
I'm good. So, a female comedian. So tell me how you got into being a comedian. And first of all, is that all you do? Is that your job, or do you do other stuff?
No, I do a lot of other stuff. I work behind the scenes. Okay. I cook for a living.
Oh, you do?
I'm a full-time mom.
And you didn't bring any food to my set. And you cook. See, next time you owe me.
I sure do.
How you gonna come to my set with no food? Okay, I'm
gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix that. We have just met, so I'm working on it. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
And
so all right. So you do a lot of other stuff. So how did you get into the comedy?
Well, I was friends with someone for 5 years. He was a comedian. Okay. And I'm one of those people, one of those late bloomers who started life really late, and I wasn't.
Was he a successful comedian? Was he funny?
I mean, yeah, he's funny. Okay. He's funny. And he got me drunk and put me on stage, and that's basically what happened. And
he got you drunk and put you on stage?
Got me drunk, put me on stage, and I've been doing funny ever since.
So were you funny, though?
I was funny. My first time, I was funny.
Really? Is that because you were drunk or just naturally funny?
Oh, no, I'm just naturally silly.
Okay.
I'm just naturally silly.
Okay. So, I mean, do you do your own material?
I do.
You write your own material?
I write my own.
Have you ever bombed before?
Have I? I thought I did one time.
Okay, what happened?
The audience was quiet. All the comedians thought they bombed this day. Okay. And we had left out, and they was like, great job, blah, blah, blah.
So they weren't saying anything, though?
They wasn't saying anything, but they really liked us on stage. Okay. It was like we was in Japan. You know how certain places in Japan, they don't smile or laugh or anything? Right. That's how it was. And I was like, so this is what it feels like. Oh, my God.
But I would think that as a comedian that you would feed off the audience and how they're, you know, acting. Because, like I'll say, I was on a judge show. I was on Texas Justice before. And I know why people act crazy on those shows, because it's like a drug. When you say something funny and you hear the laughs, you wouldn't believe that was me, because I was like so ghetto. But anyway, when you hear the laughs, it's like a drug.
It is a natural high. It is a natural high.
So when you're on stage and you don't get that, does that throw you off your program?
You know what? No. When I practice, to be honest with you, most of the time I go on stage. I don't get a chance to practice in front of people at all. Okay. So that's why when I do it, I know it's funny. If it make me giggle, I know it's funny. And then if I do it in front of my 2 kids, that's my audience. Okay. I know if they giggle, I know it's funny.
Now, do you have certain jokes that you tell for certain crowds? Or
yes, I do.
Do you have dirty jokes?
I do.
Okay, tell me a dirty joke. Go ahead. Tell my audience. Look at camera too.
Okay, a dirty joke is, let me see. You know how if you ever get caught having sex one time, you know? And I'm not talking about like regular sex, you know. I'm talking about oral, you know, but on a guy.
One of my favorites. Anyway, go ahead.
And you know, you going in and one of your kids my youngest son just happened to walk in and court me. I call him Little Ross. He walk in and talk some. So as soon as he came in, he closed the door. But let me tell you one thing. I can keep all my snacks now. I write the word mom on it, and he don't touch it. But my oldest son was drinking my juice with the word mom on it from the mouth, right? It was like slow motion. He was going in drinking, and my youngest son came walking in and tumbled it out this way. He was like, no, no, no. Mom been drinking. She was drinking.
Okay, so that was cute. So after he saw you, now let me ask you this. Now, did that really happen? Do you make up some of your jokes?
That was totally made up.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay,
no,
we'll say that.
No, seriously.
Okay.
I haven't been caught yet. Praise God. I want my jokes to be daring.
Okay.
And because situations do happen like that.
Oh,
they really
yeah.
do.
Life itself sometimes is so, I know my life is so hilarious, things that happen, you know. But so if you are on stage and you do bomb, do you just leave stage or do you keep on trying to be funny?
You keep on trying to be funny. You do it until you get a giggle out of there. You just don't run out of your time, but you reach, or you have something that you know that can save you.
Now, when you go, do you know exactly what you're going to say when you go on stage, or do you sometimes make it up as you go along?
I've learned how to learn my crowd the hard way.
Okay.
Someone put me on stage after somebody dressed up. You know how people dress up and do the funny with the clothes and make it, and I mean everybody was performatively funny.
Okay.
And I don't do that. So, and that's how I learned my crowd the hard way. So I know what to say, what to do, and how to come back. And I learned the hard way from that.
Okay.
I can say that was my bomb.
Really? And now you were in the club here in Philadelphia?
I was in Philadelphia. That was a setup.
Now, do you go all over? Where's some of the places that you've been?
I will be in. I was in. Where was I? I was in New York for 2 days out of this week because I really live in Virginia, so I'm here for the month. So I was in New York twice so far. So I've been here for 2 weeks, and I was somewhere an hour away.
Now you say you live in Virginia. But now, are you from Philadelphia or are you from Virginia?
I'm from New York.
Okay, no, from neither one. From New York. Okay. So now, why are you in Virginia?
Oh, to put my kids through college.
Why you have to explain that one to me?
When I went down there, it's more opportunities. They have
Virginia?
this more opportunities in Virginia. They have this program called RICT or something. It's like military based, and they train the kids and they have mentors. And when he's in 11th grade, he's already taking college courses for 2 years. Okay. So whatever else he's taking, he already have 2 years off of that, and they pay for it.
In Virginia.
In Virginia.
So you moved there for your kids.
I did. So I come up in the summer and have my fun, and I OD on fun.
Okay.
Because I'll go back to purgatory.
What are some of the clubs you're going to be? Are you going to be anywhere in Philadelphia anytime soon? Or
I will be at the Raven for practice.
Now, where's that?
That's on 18th and Sampson.
You have to let me know because maybe I'll come to see you. I might bring some of my camera people.
I know that's right. That's right. And I will be at Hillian.
I don't know any of these clubs.
It's a white club. It's a white club.
Well, that's where I go. Let me tell you. So when I go to white clubs, when I go to black clubs, they say I dance like a white girl, you know. But when I go to white clubs, oh my God, I'll be jamming. Last time they said, "Oh, you are a dancing queen."
I know that's right.
Had in a black club, they would say, "Bitch, sit down." Okay.
we do hate on each other like that.
I do white clubs.
You do okay. I do the robot when I'm out. So
hello, okay, and it gets over.
It gets over. Okay. I still leave looking fly and nice. They still want my number.
Okay. So well, anyway, thank you so much for coming.
Oh,
we
no
have
problem.
to
Thanks
have
for
you
having
on
me.
again so you could,
I
do
could
some
actually do a real set.
Exactly,
Yep.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mia.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, and thank you guys for tuning into this edition of Salima Speaks. You know, it's wonderful to have laughter in your life. Some people don't have that. Some people I know some Muslims never laugh. Some Christians never laugh. If you are with God, you should be happy. What are you so mad and sad about? If you're really a child of God and you believe in God, man, you should be happy. I am. Anyway, thank you so much. And remember, love yourself, love others, and don't forget to stretch. So important.